what are the pain points that we were trying to solve specifically with this process, right? So those barriers. So the first one that they identified was number one, the difficulty in managing and assigning reviewers. So imagine you have a pile of applications, you have 20 reviewers who are volunteering, they're all excited, but how do you get them to the right spot? And how do you make sure that every application has a reviewer? And how do you also ensure that the work is evenly distributed out over all the different reviewers? So I'll show you that solution, but it's basically, as I said, it was a matrix that we were able to build out. And I see a question here from Caitlin for payout. Is that also conducted through this portal or is this handled externally? Yes, so the payout decision is handled within Salesforce so that when that portal user logs in, they'll be able to see the status. You know, it's still under review or it's getting paid or it has been paid. The actual mechanics of payout will happen in the ERP system. So when you sync that disbursement record from Salesforce over to the finance team, they can actually go ahead and cut the check or do the ACH payment from that system. All right. And that's a whole different presentation I can talk to you all about. So we'll save that for another time. The second barrier here that I want to talk about is reviews being done outside of the system, right? And sometimes we see that. We see organizations who, you know, they've been around for a long time. Folks are used to doing their PDF reviews or emails or whatever. We want to get everything all into one system. So that was one of the things that we were able to solve. The next one is a lot of manual scoring. So again, if you're on a spreadsheet or on a PDF and you're scoring things manually, well, someone needs to do the math later on. So the benefit of having all of that in Salesforce, it allows us to automate the math in the background, make sure that everyone's filling out the scores in the right way, and then having one central database to do all of that, to collect all of that information. And then the last thing is the review window confusion. So imagine if you were logging into a portal, you had 20 applications to review, but each application has a scorecard associated with it, and you're flipping back and forth between all of these screens. It gets confusing, it gets tedious, and it slows you down. So we were able to solve that by building a special user interface that shows both the application and the scorecard all at one time in a side-by-side panel. And that way we're eliminating accidentally assigning the wrong scorecard to the wrong application, et cetera. So everything is concise.